Hey guys, my name is Emma and today I'm doing the My Life in Books tag. So I'll chuck the original tag down below. No one's tagged me personally in this, I just felt like doing it. I am on my phone recording. If you saw my October wrap up, my camera battery has died. I don't know where the charger is, I do not have time to find it. Life is crazy right now. There are exams, there are going on holiday. When you see this, I should be literally doing my exam right now, so wish me luck. It's my midterm for my MBA that I'm doing at the moment, and I'm freaking out a little bit because it's mainly accounting and like statistical analysis, and those are two things that my brain hates with a passion. So wish me luck. Get into the tag, shall we? So the first question or challenge is basically give a book for the first initial of your first and last name. So mine is Emma Wright, so for Emma I've got E, and I'm going to do Ella Enchanted by, I have forgotten because I read it so long ago, but it's here. This is a wonderful tale. It's middle grade, I think, and it is the story of a girl who has to obey every order. It's set in a mythical, magical land. There are fairies, there are trolls, there are ogres, there's everything. It's kind of a Cinderella retelling. The gift, the reason why she has to obey everything is it was a gift from a fairy godmother gone wrong, and it's just her quest to try and break out on her own, find her identity, and ultimately try and break this gift slash curse, really. It's wonderful. It has been made into a movie with Anne Hathaway, which the movie and the book do split, as books and movies do often, but I think that they both have their merits, so don't discount the movie. Apparently there's like a prequel that she's doing called Ogre Enchanted, and I totally want to read that soon. For W, I have Water for Elephants by Sarah Gruen. This is an amazing, oh sorry, is that Sarah? Maybe Sarah, there's no H on the end. This is a love story that is set in 1920s America at the time of the Prohibition, but it's specifically set with a travelling circus. It's gorgeous. It's just one of these prose that is absolutely beautiful. The setting of a circus is an absolute classic for making for gorgeous prose. It is a very pretty landscape to set your book in. I love the characters in this, and as you can see, this has been made into a movie. I do have the movie cover here with Robert Pattinson and Reese Witherspoon, and I think the movie, if anything, is actually slightly better than the book because circus is very much a visual medium, and I think that the show does a really good job of giving you that gorgeous front of house, but then the gritty reality of living on the road behind the scenes. But again, both book and movie, really strong storytelling. The next challenge is to count along my bookshelves to my age and then just grab that book. So I'm 25, so let's do that. Gotta move Terrence. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Ho ho. It's Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. Now, I really don't actually like this book very much. This has been made into a movie recently. All the books I've been talking about have been made into movies. This isn't the books to movies tag, just in case you've now got confused. But this is set in a dystopian future. It's the 2040s that it's supposed to be. Everything's gone to pot. We escape into a virtual reality to deal with most of our problems. So a lot of schools take place there, there are jobs there. The rest of the world is sort of slums and like trailer vans parked on top of each other, and then you just escape into this virtual reality. The virtual reality was set up by a man called Halliday? Something like that. He died. His will, which bequeaths away his entire company, goes to the person who can crack his riddles and solve his Easter egg hunt through the entire virtual reality world of the Oasis. Now, Halliday was a massive 80s geek, so the idea is that you need to be up on 80s pop culture to be able to solve the riddles. And it follows our main protagonist, who is one of the egg hunters, shortened down to Gunters, who is on the quest to crack the riddles, and in doing so, the fort win. I really dislike this book because I think it's very lazy. By basing your world very much in 80s pop culture references, it means that you don't have to create a very compelling world. You can just reference back to like Monty Python and Ferris Bueller's Day Off and all the various video games of the time and movies of the time, and then you don't have to worry about making your environment particularly compelling because, hey, somebody's already done it for you like a couple of decades ago. I have problems with this book because it really glorifies the idea of the fanboy and the idea that the more knowledge you have about something, the more justified you are in loving it, and the idea of wielding your extensive knowledge on something that you're passionate about as a way to bar other people from joining in that conversation, which I think is something that is very prevalent still today, and is something that is a real problem in most smaller communities. There is a podcast called Overdue, and Andrew and Craig from that have a brilliant episode on this, where they talk about the issues that they have with Ready Player One, specifically for a lot of those problems as well. I'll link down below their podcast. I think that episode in particular is really strong and really articulates a lot of the issues I have with this book. Okay, the next one is pick a book that is set in my city or country. So let's find that. The one I'm going to pick is The Humans by Matt Haig. So I live in Cambridge right now, and this is indeed set in Cambridge. I talked about this one fairly recently because I only read it back in September, which was only about a month ago now. This tells the story of a mathematician who has solved a big hypothesis. Which one is it? The Riemann or Riemann hypothesis. And basically by solving it, it's going to have loads of ramifications for our technology, and an alien race who is far more advanced than us, who value logic over emotion, has seen that we have now discovered this and have gone, we're not ready for that. So they basically kill off the mathematician Andrew and send down an alien to be his body double replacement to wipe all traces of the proof off the face of the planet. But along the way, the alien learns what it means to be human and what it means to feel love and emotion and caring, and it's a really lovely story about human nature. This is a really lovely conversation about the little perks that it means to be human. The next one is pick a book that represents a destination that I'd like to travel to, and I'm struggling with this one. I'm not really that bothered by travel. I'm a little bit of a homebody, not gonna lie to you. So let's have a think. So I am going to pick One Way by S.J. Morden. So this is actually set on Mars, and I think for me personally, if I could pick literally any destination that I could go to, I would pick outer space. Which might be a bit of a cop-out, but come on, space. Like, that's so cool. So I also had on my list for this one Artemis by Andy Weir, which he was the same author of The Martian as well. So we're just noticing a kind of general theme. I'm not bothered whether it's Mars, the moon, maybe even further afield, but I think personally if we could get space travel down in my generation, I would totally go and check it out because it sounds really fun. One Way in particular is a thriller where basically 8 astronauts get sent to Mars and one of them's a killer, and it's a really ridiculous book. I have more on this in my Thrillerathon wrap-up, which is when I read it. I do talk about this in detail there, so I'll link that down below, but I really don't have the energy to go into why this book is crazy again. So the next one is pick a book that is your favourite colour, and my favourite colour is green, so I've gone for Wicked. This is a retelling of The Wizard of Oz, focusing on the Wicked Witch of the West, who is indeed green all over. So Elphaba, I'm feeling you, girl, you're rocking my colour. This is by Gregory Maguire. It made massive waves when it first came out ages ago now. There's a musical about it on Broadway. I really don't think I need to go into much detail about Wicked. It is a great book, so if you haven't read it, and you're maybe put off by the musical if you're not really a musical kind of person, I think that the book is very nuanced and very interesting, so I'd definitely check it out if I were you. It's cool. Also, the musical's great, like some banging tunes in there. Defying Gravity is an absolute tune. I won't attempt it though, because I do not have that range. The next question is the book that you have the fondest memories of, and I'm actually just going to go for a whole collection here. So when I was younger, my parents were separated. They now have actually got back together, but when I was from about age 18 months to about 10 years, give or take, they were separated, and my dad lived a little bit further away. It was about a 3-hour drive, give or take, and every other weekend I would go and visit him, so he'd drive down and pick me up, and then we'd drive back to his, and along the drive we would listen to a lot of audiobooks, and so all of those audiobooks hold really special memories for me for all those drives backwards and forwards from my mum's to my dad's. The audiobooks we listened to a lot. It was quite a while, and they did evolve as I got older, but probably greatest hits of that collection include The Wind in the Willows, which is an amazing audiobook, Black Beauty, Stig of the Dump, Clever Polly and the Stupid Wolf, and The Hobbit, I'd say, were my favourites. There's probably more in there that I'm missing, but those are the ones that come to mind when I really think about my childhood and fond memories with them. The next one is the book that you had the most difficulty reading, and I really, again, I kind of struggled to pick out. a particular one with this. Difficulty reading can range from just it wasn't very engaging, you struggled with the format, or to potentially it was emotionally quite difficult to read. And I think I'm going to go for the emotionally difficult one. And for that I'm picking The Vegetarian by Han Kang. This has been widely acclaimed as being absolutely amazing, and I totally don't get it. So it's a translated work from South Korea. Han Kang also wrote Human Acts, which I think is an absolutely phenomenal book. And is one of my favourites. So I was really looking forward to The Vegetarian, and it just didn't resonate with me. It's about a woman who decides to become a vegetarian and then also decides to kind of eschew food altogether, and it's about her slow decline of health. It's not told from her point of view, it's told from 3 different characters kind of looking in. It's her husband, her sister-in-law, and I think her lover, but I wouldn't quote me on that. And it was mainly the kind of those characters looking on at her with sort of the level of disgust that came from some of them, and just the ways that they were dealing with it, and the ways that they described her body, and just the particular vocabulary of the book and the style really got under my skin and made me feel very uncomfortable. And there are very few books out there that I wish I could go back in time and actively not read. Like, when a book is bad, often it's still good to, or when you personally find a book bad, it's often a good experience still to have read it, because it helps you hone what you do like in books and what you don't like, and potentially recognising, you know, technically good writing and skilled writing compared to not. Even a bad reading experience can be a positive addition to your reading vocabulary and lifetime. This book, however, if I could go back in time and not read it, I would, because it just made my skin crawl, and it really didn't work for me at all. It's supposed to be an allegory of something to do with South Korea, and I don't get it, which is often the case I find with allegories. I just don't get them. Sorry, maybe I'm too shallow. Not really for me. And then the final one, the final thing on the list, is a book on your TBR that you're going to be most proud to have finished. Probably just for its sheer length. I do have Under the Dome by Stephen King on my TBR, so I think that one might count. There's a few classics. I own some Jane Austen that once I finally get around to those, I'll be quite proud of that, because I don't generally tend to read classics. But nothing's really jumping out, so we're going to go with Stephen King's Under the Dome as the one that I'll be most proud for. So that was my relatively quick fire for me tag for my life in books. If you haven't done this tag already, you're officially tagged now by me, so go and do it if you want to, and do comment that you've done it so I can go and see them. This was not really planned. If you've seen my October wrap up, you know that life is crazy right now, and I do not have time to film the kind of things that I want to be filming necessarily, so this was a little bit spur of the moment. Apologies for the phone quality of footage, not ideal either, but hopefully it's been okay, and I will see you guys in my next video, which I promise will be of better quality. So happy reading, have a great week, and I will chat to you soon. Bye!